In this clip, we are going to draw a shape on our image in order to darken only a part of the earth. In our case, the left part. And for doing that, I will use a rotor node. The rotor node can be found in the draw menu up there and here, rotor. You can as well use the O shortcut. Okay, when I create the rotor node, you can see that there is new menus popping up on my viewer. If I close the properties and reopen it, you can see the difference. And those things are the tools that will help us to draw shapes. For example, here I have the Bezier curve selected. And I will be able, for example, to draw a mask around my ship in order to, I don't know, color correct it separately. Okay, this is just a garbage mask for the example. And we don't need that, of course, because we have the ship on a separate layer, but this is just for the example. So how this will work? Well, let's go after the ship here, and I will create a color correct node. I don't know if you noticed, but all the node in Nuke got that little input on the right. And if you drag it, like you can see that it says mask. Almost all the nodes in Nuke have a mask input. And what is it for? Well, when you plug a mask to the mask input of a node, you are defining the area of the image that will be affected by the node. For example, if I plug that color correct here and I plug it to my mask, and I cut here and I modify that, I need to plug my viewer here, of course. But like as you can see, I'm affecting only which is in the mask. So how does it work? Well, if I look at my rotor node, there is nothing here. But if I check the alpha channel using the A key, I can see that whatever is inside the mask is white. So basically the mask input of a node doesn't have to be a rotor. It could be just an alpha channel. And that node will use that alpha channel, black and white, to define which areas are affected by my node. All right, now let's do what we actually want to do. So I'll delete that thing and I will come here right after my defocus. And I will create a fresh rotor node using the O shortcut. And I will hold my click onto that icon and come here and select the ellipse. Now I will draw a big ellipse on my image. And I will use that guy in order to create a vignette where I will darken the corners. I will create a grain node with the G key, or you can create it by going into the color menu and here, grain. Okay, and I will connect my grain node after my defocus, and I will plug my mask input to the rotor that I just created. Now, if I come into my grade and gain down my image, of course I need to plug my viewer after my grade, all right? Now I can see what I'm doing. So if I'm gaining down my image, I can see that whatever is inside my mask will be affected and outside, no. Well, in my case, I like the opposite. So how can I do? Well, if you check in your grade node, and that will be the same thing for any nodes, you will have the mask here that says, okay, out of my mask, I will check the alpha channel. And what I can do here, I could invert it. If I take that guy, I invert my mask, and perfect. Now, it's great, but it doesn't look good. And I like to smooth out that mask. So what I can do is by holding down the Control key or Command key on Mac, I can select a point and drag and drop it to create a feather. Then I will have something more smooth. And I can adjust that guy. So now if I want to adjust that guy, it will move everything. It will move the feather as well. But if I just like to reduce the feather by adjusting the other points, I will have as well to maintain the Control or Command key down to change a little bit how it is. And perfect. And now I'm creating that mask how I want. Maybe I will feather it here as well a little bit. And maybe more like that. And maybe more like that. Because I actually don't want to darken the top here and mirror the bottom. I'm not really creating a vignette, right? I'm just creating a mask here to darken that part of the earth. So same, I don't want to affect the stars. So I will just make my shape a little bit bigger here. Okay, cool. Maybe a little bit more like that. And I can see my image without the rotor shape. I could close the properties, but if I want to see my image without the rotor shape and having the properties open, I can use the Q key to toggle on and off the overlay, as we see earlier in the previous chapters. And now I have a better view of what's going on. So maybe I could darken down a little bit more. And as I darken down, I realize that this mask, even with the feather, is still a bit sharp. So what I usually do is to create a blur node with the B key and plug it after my rotor shape and put like a big value. So 100, or maybe like sometimes it's not because the slider is over that you can go over it. So I will select that guy and type 200, and there we go. I think it's a bit better. Okay, cool. Maybe a teeny bit more darker. Oh, that's great. And with the multiply here, I will click on the color wheel and introduce a little bit of blue in my vignetting. Cool. Let's see how it looks like at the end of my comp. Boom. I think it looks pretty great. Okay, this is it for this video. Now let's see how to enhance a little bit our image. And we will do that in the next video. See you there.